In this day and age when everybody's taking selfies and doing all this social media, Facebook type stuff, David stands out as a person who leads and shows by example. He does not need to talk about himself or do things to impress others. You know that David is there. He's solid as a rock. He helps people and is an example for all of us.
Dave is just one of those people that in every facet of his life treats people with respect, does the absolute best that he can in any situation that he has, worries about getting all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed, everything completed.
I'd have to say for 43 years I've been honored and privileged to call David Hampton my father. He's been involved in my life from day one, of course, involved in my scouting life since I was 8 years old through I was 18. At times my dad was a little stern, but he's also been loving and understanding. He's always been there for me. He treated me through scouting like he would any other boy, no higher, no lower. I think he instilled a lot of the values that I still hold true today. I'm very proud to call him my father. He is a great scout leader.
Dave is going to get the Good Scout Award today. And I think he was selected primarily because he's been one of the unsung heroes for the many decades that he's led our particular troop. He simply continues to work away at the grass level with the boys, getting them through the program.
I mean, he's given his entire life to scouting. Not very many people dedicate their life to something outside of their family or their work, but he's done all three, and he's done them very well.
He is a good guy. I just can't emphasize that enough, and a good friend who would do anything for you, always willing to help you.
Honestly, I can't remember the number of years it's been since my dad found out he had cancer. It was devastating to our entire family, me especially. No one likes to think about your father or any other family member suffering with cancer and possibly shortening their life on this earth. But through it all, my dad has had the strength to continue on. I think a lot of that has to do with his faith and his values. He has fought through some very hard ordeals as far as treatment. As of now, he's still coming through that very strong. He's always dedicated as much of his time when feeling good to the Scouts as well, which at times probably irritated my mother a little bit, but he would take care of the boys as opposed to taking care of himself. And that's, like you said, he's always looked out for everybody but himself.
So during one time when we were looking for some additional adult leadership and knowing that Dave would be really focused and we can easily sneak something up on the side where he doesn't catch on right away that it's a practical joke, I contacted a friend of mine at CMPD, and we had 2 women from the Vice Squad come up dressed in their working clothes and talk to Dave that Monday night at our scout meeting about the scout program and so forth, and ask if they could sign up as assistant scoutmasters. It was like deer in the headlights. He didn't know what to say. He wasn't going to be offensive to anybody. He was going to maintain the scout program, but it got a little bit painful after 30 seconds, so we had to pull the plug on it. But I don't think he'll ever forget the additional scout leaders that we tried to bring into the troop that night.
David and I also have a connection. We were both in the Navy, so we were able to tell sea stories to each other about our time in the Navy.
While Dave was in the Navy in Vietnam, he ran into a couple situations where he saw a lot of his shipmates die. If you remember the burning of the USS Forrestal, Dave was on board that boat when it burned. It's never left his mind. He watched as the Forrestal was towed to the scrapyard. He was really dedicated to that job, just like he is to his current jobs that he does with Scouts. Now that he's retired, a little bit more time with Pat, his wife. Very, very good all-around guy.
If I could instill in the future generations a quality David Hampton possessed, I would have to say it would go along with the Scout Law's last 2 principles, brave and reverent. I believe that if more boys in the world were more reverent and more brave, we'd have a lot stronger society. We'd have better leaders. brave allows you to deal with whatever situations are dealt with you, sometimes taking the high road when it's not as easy. That's a principle in scouting that is preached, that you're going to do the right thing no matter what. And the reverence. I think a lot of my dad's fight through cancer has been because of his reverence. And I think if everybody else can use reverence in their lives, they can get through a lot of their difficult situations.